Can these three new cars be the ultimate automotive solution? With 4 doors and big boots, they're certainly practical, but they've got supercar levels of performance. And one thing's for sure, they're certainly exciting. First up is the Mercedes C63 AMG. Always famed for their powerful hand-built engines and aggressive styling add-ons, AMG have now worked their magic on the new Mercedes C-Class. Powered by the firm's familiar 6.3 litre normally aspirated V8, this car has 100 brake horsepower more than either the M3 or the ISF. It also has 600 Nm of torque, which is huge. Now when you're driving the new C63, it's immediately clear this car is much more powerful than its rivals. This is one seriously fast road car. That huge amount of torque means there's acceleration in nearly every gear and performance is scintillating. But AMG cars have never suffered from a lack of power. Where this car is different is that AMG have worked their magic on the suspension, steering and handling too. And we go as far as to say this new C63 runs the M3 close in terms of its driving dynamics. And make no mistake, it's one seriously manly performance car. Just look at this. Next up is a new Lexus ISF. It doesn't take long when you look at this car to realise that this Lexus means business. Just take a look at that bulging bonnet, those flared wheel arches and the quadruple exhaust. But what really sets this car apart, just like the Mercedes, is what's under the bonnet. Powered by a 5 litre V8, this car has 100 Nm more torque than the BMW. And incredibly, it's got an 8-speed gearbox. Now when you first start driving the ISF, it feels very familiar. It feels just like any other Lexus. It's quite refined, the engine's very silky and smooth. But start playing with the paddles and get that gearbox working, and suddenly something strange happens, because under 3,000 revs, this engine's like any other Lexus. It's very smooth, very calm. But look what happens when you accelerate beyond 3,000 revs. Suddenly, at 4,000, this engine comes alive and you realise this is one seriously fast car. And unsurprisingly, Lexus has done some work on this car as well to make sure this ISF can deal with all that extra power. For starters, the gearbox allows you plenty of control and there's a lovely blip on the downshift. They've also improved the brakes, although it haven't quite got the bite and feel of the M3 and the Mercedes. But as their first effort for a performance car, I've got to say, it's pretty impressive. When BMW launched the original left-hand drive M3 in 1987, they basically gave birth to the sports saloon market. Now when you jump into the M3, the first thing you notice is the traditional 6-speed manual. Now BMW are launching a multi-clutch paddle shift gearbox in this car very shortly, but for now you've got to make do with the stick shift. That's not a bad thing, as it allows you to make the most of this wonderful engine. Now it's got less torque than its rivals in this test, but that torque arrives very early in the power range and it arrives all the way through the revs, so it's a great engine to use. And when you drive the M3, it certainly is fun. It demands your attention, but when you drive it properly, it rewards you. It's got the sharpest steering and the tautest body control. It also has very firm brakes, and it's a great driver's car on a circuit. But just because this car hasn't got a paddle shift gearbox, don't think it's lacking in technology. This power button allows you to get a sharper throttle response, whilst the electronic damper control has 3 settings, ranging from comfort to fully stiff. And finally, you can turn off the traction control for maximum fun. So ignore these cars' humble beginnings and their four-door practicalities, because underneath it all, this new trio of V8 Super Saloons are some of the most outrageous and powerful performance cars that money can buy.